are the secrets to being authentic, and particularly in your content and in your copywriting. I have a friend who I'm bringing onto this live with me today who is going to talk with you and me about all of that. I am going to quickly invite Becky onto here. It's always the same thing, right? Like, how do you work out the technical part? All right. Who do not know me. My name is Emilia, and I help women who have a business that is successful on paper, but doesn't suit their mom life. Here's Becky. Hey, Becky.
Hello. How are you doing, Emilia?
Good. I'm so glad to have you here with me. This is so much
Yay.
fun.
Good to be with you. So this is my first live. Do I click share video at the
No,
bottom? I have a little thing.
it should be sharing. If you want to click it, I don't know what it does if you say
I'll click it and see. Okay. I've clicked it. Nice. Hello. How are you doing? What's going on over there in France today?
I'm doing great, and I'm just so glad to be here with you. I was saying we're going to talk about all about authenticity and what keeps us from being authentic, and how do we integrate, how do we be more authentic in operating in our content and our marketing, all the things,
Yes.
right?
All the things. Yes. And I'm just so glad we finally made this happen. It's been a while in the pipeline,
I know.
and we finally made it. 2 time zones, 2 schedules, 2 momming schedules, as well as business schedules. So yay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here with me. Why don't you tell us all about yourself, Becky? What do you do?
Yes, sure. So I'm Becky on Instagram. I'm at Becky the Copywriter. I'm originally from the UK and I'm currently living in Istanbul, Turkey. And I'm a copywriter for service providers, entrepreneurs, and brands that want to make an impact and make a lot of money.
Mm.
So I'm here for both of those things. I believe that we can do both. And yeah, I write any words that you need to stack connection with your audience, and engage them and build trust with them, in a non-salesy, icky way. I'm all about, building authentic content that, aligns with who you want to reach. And Amelia and I met inside of a similar coaching container and realized we had a lot in common. So yeah, it's been really great to connect.
Yeah, it's so funny because like connecting like that, right, was also very authentic. That's why we decided
Yeah.
to talk about authenticity in this live, right?
Yeah.
We have so much in common. We're both expats. I'm originally American from California, living in the south of France. You're an expat.
Yes.
Like you said, we both have kids, and we're both living this life of being the mom
And
entrepreneur.
and 3 boy club. I think that's a unique
Also,
club
yes,
that like
so
bonded
right.
us for life there, Amelia. The 3 boy club.
And which is saying a lot, right?
Yes, for sure. It's a unique club.
Why don't we start out with what does authenticity look like?
Yeah. Yeah, I think authenticity looks like, as a copywriter, it looks like really not holding back from who I am online and also with my clients. Like, I'm a professional, but that doesn't mean that I can't form a connection with the people that I work with. Yeah. So I think for me, it looks like being myself. It looks like not trying to be like anybody else. And it also looks like empowering my clients and my audience to own who they are. Because we all have unique stories. We all have values that are important to us, that are shaped by everything you and I just talked about, like where we grew up, our family, our religion, our background, all of those things. And I just believe, and I know that, marketing today, if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner, people want to buy from personal brands. They want to buy from real humans. And so now, from a business perspective as well, more than ever, it's so important that we show up as our authentic selves as business owners. Yeah.
You're so right. Like there's been a real shift, I think, in the last, I don't know what, like 15-ish years, right?
Definitely.
Online space.
Yeah.
Wanting not just to buy for whatever thing, the service, the product is, but buying because the person who is selling to us is someone that we we know, like, and trust,
Yeah, we
right?
resonate with them. We see what they care about, and it's what we care about too. Definitely.
Yeah. And so you're so right. It's linked to our values in a lot of ways, in what is true for us, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we, what do you think? It's interesting because, like, what do you think makes that difficult for us to do? Because I know for me, on my journey, I started my business now over 6 years ago, and I can still feel it come up from time to time. That feeling of like, even coming on a live like this, and you have the number of how many people are there, up and down and up and
Yeah.
down, whatever, and that feeling of, like, you see yourself, so you have, like, this reflection of yourself back here, and it's very easy to feel that layer of fear of, what are people thinking of me, even like rejection, because the number goes up and down and up and down and whatever,
Totally.
like, so many things that can, like, layer in front of us, and I think take us away from showing up as our most authentic self.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of that, it takes us back to like the playground or high school of that comparison, even before the world was so digital. I don't know about you, but for me, growing up, I struggled with comparison all the time, wanting to be like her or do things what she did or look like her. And for sure, that is magnified, isn't it, on the online world? And you and I know that as moms, like that's something that we probably even tackle with our children.
Mhm.
And so, what stops us being authentic in our content? I think it's this maybe this desire to yeah, feeling insecure and wanting to do what she's doing. But then I also think sometimes like there's so much online like marketing advice, right? And so we think like, oh, we should be doing it like this, or this marketing guru, hugely popular coach says that we should have this strategy. And sometimes we can just get a little bit lost in that and just forget to pull the curtain back and be ourselves. And as a copywriter, I do say to my clients, like, we're not going to try and make your copy sound like anybody else, because then you lose your special spice. Like, if we can really be authentic and bravely show up as ourselves, then our content can touch the right lives, right? We're going to magnetize the people that we are supposed to be connecting with and networking with and working with, because we have shared values. And it's not about repelling the wrong people, but we're all not going to waste time, pulling in people that aren't aligned and having those sticky work situations. Yeah.
Mm. Well, and I think, it's interesting you talk about, like, repelling people too. I think that it's like, I used to fear that when I first started out. And then I realized that, kind of like a magnet that has two poles, it has the part and the repulsing, or, like, pushing away part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Same thing in our marketing, that when be, because we have this indicator of people that work our world,
Yeah.
it also means that we're also, like, pushing people away. And
Yes.
that's okay, because it's actually an indicator that we're showing up more clear in that
More
avatar,
authentically. Yeah.
right? So, like, if I'm saying, like, I am this, and that means that there are people who are going to say, oh, well, yeah, that's you,
Yeah.
right? That's just like, I'm just like you. And then there's going to be people who are going to, like, walk by and be like, who cares? And
Yeah.
there's going to be people who are like, that's stupid, right? Like,
And it's so freeing once you've been brave and like showed up as your authentic self. You might have like shared your heart in a post or been particularly vulnerable. It's so freeing when you survive that feeling of people walking away, because the reality is we're not going to be for everybody. I don't care how big your business is or how many followers you have or how much you have in the bank. Like, no one is for everyone, right? Like, I really believe that we are called to work with certain humans on this planet to have the impact that we're supposed to make. And so, yeah, I'm like, life is too short not to be ourselves in every area of our lives, for sure.
completely. And even, like, I mean, like, we work with women finding their balance, right? How do we adapt their business to the mom life that they're be having, so that they can have rest, and they can have pleasure, and they can have fun, and they don't have to be worried about working on their business, like, 24/7,
Yeah.
right? That we
Yeah.
get to have all those things, and we get to feel at peace doing that. And I feel like a part of authenticity is also being authentic with ourselves,
Yeah.
right? That having that honesty with ourselves, that like that self-trust
Mm-hmm.
that comes with that, in order to be able to trust that like when I'm showing up as my true self, whether people are walking away or being attracted to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a necessary
It's a
thing.
good thing. It's a necessary thing. And you know, I not everybody in that I work with is a mom. Not all my friends are moms, but I still think I love it when mom entrepreneurs do pull that curtain back a little bit and show a little bit of what life looks like for them. I think it, you know, it's attractive because people are, it's being authentic, isn't it? And it's showing the world what's really really going on. And yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I know like that's something I enjoy about your content.
Yeah.
And I try and do the same. You know, the reality is it's tricky doing it. It's tricky being a mom, managing, you know, kids' expectations and what they need, nourishing ourselves and what we need, but also running a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I I don't have time for people that are fake about that. So, you know, this myth that we can look perfect, have a perfect home, perfect kids, I'm like, it's not real. And I think it's very damaging when we present, you know, when any of us present a fake reality, like it doesn't do anyone any favors. That's just my spicy opinion for the day.
I love spiciness. It's so good. But that's true, right? And at the same time, like, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's a journey, right?
Yeah,
I don't know that I at least have not experienced a moment in time where I know that I am 100% of the time always my true and authentic. Right?
yeah.
There's always there's even though I see myself walking towards that and doing that more and more in my
Doing
life.
your best.
Yeah, there are still moments when I realize, oh, okay, I was again scared of what someone
Yeah.
thought. I was again worried of what how someone was going to react to the thing. I
Mm-hmm.
was back in that place where I
Mm-hmm.
was being true to myself, where I wasn't being who I am, content in my business, in my life, my kids, you know, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over. So I think like it's such an important conversation to have,
Mm-hmm.
to also kind of lighten the load around it, because it's
Yeah.
such a, there's also like it's also kind of a buzzword, right? Almost
Authentic.
triggering
Yeah, it's
thing of
like,
like,
ew, what does that even mean? And at the end of the day, sorry to interrupt you, I was just like, social media is all about, like, we choose which bits to show the world. You know, like, I have a guitar on the floor here, I have a bag full of my kids' stuff on the floor here. You guys aren't seeing the mess that is my office. Like, at the end of the day, the nature of social media, it is, you know, we do curate our feeds, but I guess, like you're saying, like, if we can at least be on that conscious journey
yeah,
to show people who we really are behind, you know, behind the camera, behind the perfect feed as well, then I think, you know, I think we should be patting ourselves on the back if we're just on that journey for sure.
absolutely. For me, that's success. It's being on the journey that you're actually take part in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've got about 5 minutes left here. What would be like just a simple tip on your side that you think someone watching this could take away for themselves to be a little bit more authentic in copywriting?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I think we've talked about this already, but the more you can just pull that curtain back on your business and show people the human of who you are behind your business, whether that's showing up online, whether that's blog posts, whether that's in your emails, you know, all of these are forms of copy and content that, you know, are part of your marketing ecosystem that give value. You know, show them who you are as a human. Tell a funny story of something that happened to you this week. Be honest about how you felt about something, and you know, maybe it did affect your work. You know, I just think, you know, to an appropriate level, where can you be vulnerable, where can you show a little bit more of your human side. And one practical tip I was going to talk about as well is your about page. So if you have a website, like, your about page is where people are going to go first.
Mm,
So, you know, really taking care of that, that page where you tell your story of why you're in business. Like, because for all of us running businesses as mompreneurs or entrepreneurs, like, there will be a reason why we're doing it. And you know, if you haven't dug into that and written your about page, like, I would encourage you to, dig into what specific moments in your timeline of your life led up to you starting your business, and explain those, in your about page. And I have a blog post on my website that will help you to do that, at beckythecopywriter.com.
Okay, so to get the
Yeah.
link to that, people can just reach out to you.
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram, and my website is, in my bio. And actually, I've got a plethora of blog posts on there that might be helpful. One on writing your about page, and one on actually building your authentic brand voice, so that you can be consistent across all your channels, and you can become a brand that people want to hear from.
Consistency is really also, that's interesting that you bring that about, that you talk about that it's an important part of the authenticity.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
And storytelling, telling stories.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thinking back on our lives, like what were all the events that big and little, right?
Yes.
Like there can be little events that are also important that we can tell people about, that are also ways that we show up as our true self. And we tell people, it's just about telling people who you are, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking too earlier, a little thing that sometimes I can talk about with my clients and being more authentic too, is like looking at in your life, where do you know you're being authentic? Where do you know you're being your true self? Where in your life are you not worrying about what other people think about?
Yeah. Where are you showing up for your values? Yeah. I love that. Yes.
Right. And so like a lot of times I was thinking, like, where would that be for a lot of us? Like when you're maybe talking to your best friend, right? Yeah. You're very like, you're very maybe raw with it, or just very clear, and like you're not in that when you're telling your best friend about something that happened, you're not worried about what people think.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So noting those, like, what does it look like and feel like when you're in that moment of authenticity, and then trying to put yourself back in that same place when you're creating your content, when you're doing your content, when you're doing your things. And it's not like a one and done kind of thing. The more you do that, the more you strengthen that ability to show up as your true self.
And it's funny you just said that, Emilia, because that was a point I was going to mention. The strongest form of copywriting or content writing is copy that sounds like you are doing exactly what you said, having a coffee with your friend. So again, I have a blog post on this. It's called Conversational Copywriting. I'm sure when you're scrolling or when you're reading a blog or reading an email, the copy that hooks you in sounds like it's your friend sending you, a DM or a message, or sitting across at your favorite cafe with your favorite drink and your favorite snack. So yeah, just try writing how you would speak to someone next time you're writing some content, and just see what happens. Sometimes we think, oh, I have to have my grammar, and I have to think about my hook and the structure and all those. I'm not saying those things aren't important, but if we could just write more in, how we speak, and I mean slang, I mean, like, do you call people babe? Then write babe. Like, just write how you talk. I think it really helps people, connect to us as a person, because we start hearing that voice in our head, and we want to hear more from that person. I think that's how, when you get that tone of voice consistent across all your channels, that's when you become like a brand that people, they call it a bingeable brand, which it's a little bit cringe, but you know what I mean.
I love that, Becky. Thank you for all of those resources.
Of course.
I want you all that you're watching to let you know too. Right now, I'm offering free balanced blog audits for you to be able to identify what is actually keeping you from doing the things you know you want, from having your kids, from not scheduling client calls in the evening, or not working nights, not working weekends, and being able to really, your business works now. Let's get your life built in the way that you wanted it to be when you became an entrepreneur and you had freedom that you were really craving. That's what these are for. So if you want that, either reach out to me, or you can comment under here, yes, we'll send you the link to schedule.
Yay!
Thank you, Becky. I'm so glad we did this. I can't wait.
Yes.
And that maybe in a couple months we'll come.
I would love to do this again. It's just been so wonderful connecting with you. Thanks for doing the live with me today. It's my first live. I really enjoyed it. So much. And thanks to everyone for watching.
Bye, Becky. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Have a good day.